Koshering the kitchen for Pesach could be very, very complicated if one does not study the halachot or gets educated with all the nuances behind it. However, if you get some basic facts and you learn here and there the different rules and regulations, you'll see that Be'emet, the koshering process is not as complicated as you think it is. So let's begin Bezrat Hashem with some basic introductions, all based on the opinion of the Shulchan Aruch, as brought down Halacha L'Maaseh B'Chacham Ovadia Yosef Zatzal. Basic rule. When a person cooks something in a pot, you have a pot, you make yourself some delicious soup. That soup that's being cooked, that soup is being swallowed by the walls of the pot. The pot actually swallows some of that taste. Whether it's meat, whether it's dairy, whatever the food that you're cooking, it gets absorbed by the pot itself. Now what happens is, when you finish cooking it and you wash the pot, you put it away, if you use that same pot to cook something else, the taste that was swallowed originally from the first food item could come right back out and go into the next food item. So therefore, if for example I cook meat at this moment at 9 p.m. and after I'm done at 10 p.m. I wash it out and I want to make something dairy, in reality we have the meat going onto the dairy and it's as if you're eating chas v'shalom meat and dairy together. This is tam ki'ikar, it's a halacha b'otam Shulchan Aruch. That when a person cooks one item and he cooks another item afterwards, the tastes could be absorbed with each other. With this being said, according to the Torah level, once 24 hours passes since the thing was cooked, the taste becomes noten tam lefgam. It's a putrid taste. It doesn't have that strength. It doesn't have a positive taste. That means if I cook a dairy dish at 9 a.m. and I'm done, and 24 hours passes, the next day 9 a.m., I want to cook something that's meat. According to Torah law, there is no issue in the sense because what was swallowed the previous day is already pagum, it's already a putrid taste, and it's not going to affect the next food item. However, our sages were very concerned. They had to protect us from chas v'shalom having some sort of mistakes or having some sort of issues that may arise, and therefore they had to put some sort of fence to protect us from these potential problems. For example, let's just say you have a guy that wakes up in the morning, he makes himself a nice dairy dish, and he cooks something very delicious on one of the pans. And being that he's a good husband, when he's done eating his meal, he takes his pan and he washes it, puts it back in the dish rack. Now his wife comes back a few hours later, not realizing her husband even used that dish for dairy, and she may use that same dish for meat a few hours later. So here we have dairy and meat cooked within 24 hours. And chas v'shalom, that would be a severe prohibition. So therefore, in order to prevent such issues, the Chachamim made a rule that even after 24 hours, a dish cannot be used for the other item, meaning meat dish cannot be used for dairy or dairy for meat, even after 24 hours. And that already is the minhag of Israel all across the world, where you have separate dishes for meat and separate dishes for dairy. With this being said, on Pesach, we have dishes that were used with chametz. I want to use it for Pesach. So there's a rule, kebol'o, kach polto. The way it swallowed the taste is the way it quote-unquote spits out the taste. So, for example, if I had skewers and I made myself a nice barbecue, and of course, when you make a barbecue, you add different sauces that could have chametz ingredients. You add breadcrumbs, which obviously is chametz. So I'm making this barbecue over the fire, and the fire and the meat and sauces and the breadcrumbs are all in contact with this metal skewer. So the metal skewer swallows, absorbs the taste of chametz with direct contact with fire. So it swallows the chametz through fire. So the way for me to kosher this for Pesach is by having it go over fire, over a process called libun. You would have to go through a torch, a blowtorch, in order to make this item kosher le Pesach. If you take a pot where I made chicken soup with chametz ingredients, or I made other foods with chametz ingredients, I made noodles, I made pasta. So now, whenever you have these pots, which usually have liquid as a medium, or you have oil as a medium, then, being that the taste of the chametz was swallowed through a liquid medium, in order to kosher it for Pesach, I would need another pot that's filled up with water. You make sure the water is boiling hot until it's roteach, it's mamash bubbly hot, and you put that other item that you want to kosher for Pesach inside there for a few seconds. You take it out, you wash it with cold water, and it's good to go for Pesach. Obviously, you got to make sure the pot is clean before you dip it into the Haggadah, into the big bowl of boiling water, and then it'll be ready for Pesach. Why? The way it was swallowed is the way it will exude that taste. With this being said, if you go through the kitchen, you have the same exact rule. If you take, for example, your sink, what's the concern about the sink? That you take a pot of boiling hot noodles, and you pour the boiling hot water into the sink, and now the sink swallows, quote unquote, the taste of the chametz. So in order to kosher it, the way it swallowed it, by having boiling water poured onto it, is the way it exudes that taste. So you could take boiling hot water, you could take a kettle, put it over the fire, it's whistling and bubbly hot, you take it and you pour in every part of the sink, not to splash it, but mash over every single part of the sink, and that sink is going to be kosher lePesach. Some people do it 3 times. Some people put also a plastic over it as well. But that is the way. Why? Because kibolo kach polto. If you go into other areas of the kitchen, your racks, or you have the grates that hold up the pots, how do they become chametz? Generally, as you're cooking, food spills over. It spills over onto the grates, and the grates absorb this taste. Yes, it's true that there's fire and it probably destroys the taste, but still, because of chumrah the chametz, because we want to be stringent with chametz and be extra careful, therefore, because the grates generally get their taste of chametz to a spill over, you can take those grates, clean it very well, and spill boiling hot water over it, and it will be kosher lePesach. If you go through the refrigerator normally has only cold items, and Meirov pa'amim it's only cold chametz on it, and you have nothing to be concerned about. All you have to do is really wipe it down very, very well, clean up all the crevices, make sure there's no spills, no chametz over there, and the refrigerator is good to go. The oven has a special status. There's a lot going on in the oven throughout the year, from baking and different types of roasts and different types of foods and chametz all year round, Baruch Hashem. So with the oven, you got to make sure you clean it very, very well. You don't use it for about 24 hours. And then the next day, after 24 hours, you put the oven on the highest temperature for about 30-40 minutes, and the oven will be kosher lePesach. If you have the self-clean feature, you can just turn it right on right away, let it do a job, and you don't need to clean up or wait 24 hours at all. You can just put the self-clean, and it takes care of your oven. There's many other items in the kitchen, obviously. Everyone should ask their Rav for guidance. But basically, once you know the rule of kibolo kach polto, the way it swallows, the way it spits out, I think the laws of kashmir in the kitchen become much more simpler.